The Day of Judgment, also known as Yawm al-Qiyamah in Islam, is a pivotal event where every soul will stand before Allah to account for their deeds. It is a day that instills both hope and fear in the hearts of believers. The Quran and Hadith provide glimpses into the gravity of this day, emphasizing the importance of leading a righteous life. In this book, we will explore 10 profound and scary questions that Allah might ask us on the Day of Judgment, prompting us to reflect on our actions and their consequences. Let's begin. 1. Did you fulfill your obligatory prayers? The significance of Salah, or obligatory prayers, in Islam cannot be overstated. As the second pillar of Islam, Salah represents the core of a Muslim's faith and practice. It is an act of worship that establishes a direct and personal connection between the believer and Allah. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes the importance of Salah, describing it as a means to attain piety and a fundamental aspect of a righteous life. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stressed its importance by stating that it is the first deed for which a person will be held accountable on the Day of Judgment. The 5 daily prayers, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha, serve as regular intervals throughout the day, reminding Muslims of their duties towards Allah. Each prayer has its specific time and significance. Fajr, the pre-dawn prayer, symbolizes the beginning of a new day and a fresh start, emphasizing the importance of starting the day with the remembrance of Allah. Dhuhr, the midday prayer, serves as a break from worldly activities, providing a moment for spiritual reflection and renewal. Asr, the afternoon prayer, reminds believers to remain steadfast and diligent as the day progresses. Maghrib, the sunset prayer, signifies the transition from day to night, encouraging Muslims to reflect on their deeds. Finally, Isha, the night prayer, concludes the day with a sense of peace and contemplation. Neglecting Salah is seen as a serious lapse in a Muslim's religious duties. The Quran warns against those who are heedless of their prayers, highlighting the spiritual and moral consequences of such neglect. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also emphasized that abandoning Salah leads to a disconnect from the faith. Therefore, fulfilling the obligatory prayers is not just a ritualistic act, but a critical element of a Muslim's spiritual well-being and accountability before Allah. 2. How did you treat your parents? In Islam, the treatment of parents is a matter of great importance, reflecting the broader values of respect, kindness, and gratitude. The Quran and Hadith place significant emphasis on honoring and caring for one's parents, positioning it just below the worship of Allah in terms of importance. The Quran explicitly commands believers to be dutiful to their parents, particularly emphasizing compassion and patience, especially as parents age and become more dependent. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reinforced these teachings by illustrating the immense rewards for those who treat their parents with kindness and the severe consequences for those who neglect their duties towards them. He highlighted that serving one's parents is a form of worship and a means to attain paradise. Conversely, he warned that neglecting or mistreating parents is a grave sin that leads to severe repercussions in both this life and the hereafter. The responsibilities towards parents encompass various aspects, including providing for their needs, showing them respect and honor, and ensuring their comfort and well-being. Islam encourages believers to express gratitude towards their parents for the sacrifices they made and to seek their blessings and prayers. The story of Uwais al-Qarni, a pious man who earned the Prophet's praise for his devotion to his mother, serves as a powerful example of the virtues of honoring one's parents. However, modern societal changes and the demands of contemporary life often pose challenges to fulfilling these obligations. The pressures of work, distance, and individual pursuits can sometimes lead to a neglect of parental duties. Islam, however, offers guidance on balancing these demands, urging believers to prioritize their responsibilities towards their parents and to seek Allah's assistance in fulfilling these duties. 3. What did you do with your wealth? Wealth in Islam is considered both a blessing and a test from Allah. It is a resource entrusted to individuals, and with it comes the responsibility to use it wisely and justly. The Quran and Hadith provide clear guidelines on how wealth should be managed, emphasizing the importance of generosity, charity, and ethical financial practices. The concept of zakat, the obligatory almsgiving, is central to the Islamic approach to wealth. It is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and requires Muslims to give a specific portion of their wealth to those in need. Zakat is not merely a charitable act, but a mandatory duty that purifies one's wealth and soul, fostering a sense of social responsibility and solidarity within the community. The distribution of zakat ensures that wealth circulates and benefits society, helping to alleviate poverty and reduce inequality. In addition to zakat, Islam encourages voluntary charity, sadaqah, which includes any act of giving beyond the obligatory alms. The rewards for sadaqah are immense, as it is a means to earn Allah's pleasure, attain spiritual growth, and provide support to those who are less fortunate. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized that acts of charity, no matter how small, are highly valued by Allah and contribute to the well-being of society. Islam also cautions against the hoarding of wealth and the dangers of materialism. The Quran warns that excessive attachment to wealth can lead to moral decay and spiritual downfall. Therefore, Muslims are urged to adopt a balanced approach, avoiding both extravagance and miserliness. Ethical financial conduct, such as fair trading practices and honest dealings, is also stressed, ensuring that wealth is acquired and utilized in a manner that aligns with Islamic principles. The Day of Judgment will hold individuals accountable for how they earned and spent their wealth. Questions will be asked about whether wealth was used to fulfill obligations, support good causes, and assist those in need. Reflecting on these questions encourages believers to evaluate their financial habits and to strive for a life that reflects generosity, fairness, and responsibility. 4. Did you speak the truth? Truthfulness is a core value in Islam, encompassing honesty in words, actions, and intentions. The Quran and Hadith emphasize the importance of speaking the truth and maintaining integrity, highlighting that truthfulness is a key characteristic of a believer. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is described as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and his life serves as a model of honesty and reliability. The Quran instructs believers to speak the truth, even if it is against their own interests or those of their loved ones. This command underscores the principle that truth is an absolute value that should not be compromised for personal gain or convenience. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reinforced this by warning against the destructive nature of lying and deceit, describing them as traits of hypocrisy and indicators of a weak faith. The consequences of dishonesty are profound, affecting not only the individual but also the broader community. Lies and deceit erode trust, create discord, and lead to injustice. In contrast, truthfulness fosters trust, strengthens relationships, and promotes justice. The Islamic legal system, for instance, relies heavily on the testimony of witnesses, underscoring the critical role of honesty in ensuring justice. On the Day of Judgment, every word and action will be scrutinized, and individuals will be held accountable for their truthfulness. The Quran states that every utterance is recorded, and the consequences of dishonesty will be dire. Reflecting on this reality encourages believers to uphold honesty in all aspects of their lives, recognizing that truthfulness is not only a moral obligation, but also a means to attain Allah's pleasure and success in the hereafter. 5. How did you treat your neighbors? Islam places significant emphasis on the rights of neighbors, reflecting the broader principles of compassion, justice, and social harmony. The Quran and Hadith provide extensive guidance on neighborly conduct, highlighting that good treatment of neighbors is a reflection of one's faith and moral character. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized that a person is not a true believer if their neighbor does not feel safe and secure from their actions. The rights of neighbors in Islam extend beyond mere coexistence. They encompass acts of kindness, support, and protection. Muslims are encouraged to engage in good, neighborly practices, such as sharing food, offering help in times of need, and maintaining a respectful and friendly relationship. The Hadith narrates that the angel Gabriel, repeatedly advised the Prophet about the importance of neighbors, to the extent that he thought they might be included among the heirs. The Quran commands believers to show kindness to neighbors, regardless of their faith or background. This universal approach to neighborly conduct underscores the inclusive and compassionate nature of Islamic teachings. Good treatment of neighbors contributes to social cohesion, mutual respect, and a sense of community. However, neglecting or mistreating neighbors is considered a serious moral failing in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned that causing harm or discomfort to neighbors is a grave sin that can lead to severe consequences in the hereafter. He emphasized that a believer's faith is not complete if they cause harm to their neighbors. In modern urban societies, the challenges of maintaining neighborly relationships are significant, often due to the fast-paced nature of life and the increasing individualism. However, the principles of good neighborly conduct in Islam provide valuable guidance on fostering a sense of community and mutual support. On the Day of Judgment, individuals will be questioned about their treatment of neighbors, encouraging believers to reflect on their actions and strive to embody the values of compassion, respect, and justice in their interactions with those around them. 6. Did you engage in backbiting and slander? Backbiting and slander are serious sins in Islam, causing significant harm to individuals and communities. The Quran and Hadith unequivocally condemn these actions, highlighting their destructive nature and the severe consequences for those who engage in them. Backbiting, or speaking ill of someone behind their back, is likened in the Quran to eating the flesh of one's dead brother, a vivid and horrifying metaphor that underscores the gravity of this sin. Slander, which involves making false and damaging statements about someone, is similarly condemned, as it can ruin reputations, relationships, and lives. The prohibition of backbiting and slander is rooted in the principles of justice, respect, and dignity that underpin Islamic teachings. Islam emphasizes the importance of maintaining the honor and integrity of others, recognizing that words have the power to harm or heal. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described the tongue as a tool that can lead to great good or immense harm, urging believers to use it wisely and justly. The social implications of backbiting and slander are profound. These actions create discord, mistrust, and enmity within communities, undermining social cohesion and harmony. They can lead to the spread of false information, damage reputations, and cause emotional and psychological harm. In an age of social media and instant communication, the potential for backbiting and slander to cause widespread harm is even greater, making the Islamic injunctions against these sins particularly relevant. Islam provides guidance on how to avoid falling into the trap of backbiting and slander. Believers are encouraged to think before they speak, to avoid idle gossip, and to focus on their own shortcomings rather than those of others. If one hears backbiting, they should discourage it and remind others of its harmful consequences. The importance of seeking forgiveness from those we have wronged through backbiting or slander is also emphasized, highlighting the need for personal accountability and reconciliation. On the Day of Judgment, individuals will be questioned about their speech, including any instances of backbiting and slander. Reflecting on these questions encourages believers to cultivate habits of kindness, empathy, and restraint in their speech, recognizing that every word carries weight and responsibility. 7. How did you use your time? Time is one of the most precious resources bestowed upon humanity, and its significance is deeply rooted in Islamic teachings. The Quran and Hadith emphasize the value of time, urging believers to utilize it wisely and productively. Time is viewed as a trust from Allah, for which individuals will be held accountable. The fleeting nature of time is highlighted in various verses, reminding believers of the brevity of life and the importance of making the most of every moment. Islam encourages a balanced approach to time management, encompassing worship, work, family, and self-care. The concept of ihsan, or excellence, extends to how one uses their time, promoting efficiency, productivity, and mindfulness. The daily prayers serve as a constant reminder of the importance of time, structuring the day around moments of spiritual reflection and connection with Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, exemplified the ideal use of time, balancing his duties as a leader, teacher, and family man with his spiritual obligations. He emphasized the importance of seeking knowledge, performing good deeds, and engaging in acts of worship. The Hadith narrates that one of the first questions a person will be asked on the Day of Judgment is how they spent their time, underscoring its significance. Modern life presents numerous challenges to effective time management, with constant distractions and demands competing for our attention. Islam offers practical guidance on overcoming these challenges, encouraging believers to set clear priorities, avoid procrastination, and seek a balanced lifestyle. Reflecting on the transitory nature of life and the certainty of accountability can motivate believers to use their time more purposefully. On the Day of Judgment, individuals will be asked about how they utilize their time. This question prompts deep introspection, encouraging believers to assess their daily routines, set meaningful goals, and strive for a life that reflects the values of diligence, purpose, and devotion to Allah. 8. Did you fulfill your promises? Keeping promises is a fundamental aspect of integrity and trustworthiness in Islam. The Quran and Hadith emphasize the importance of fulfilling promises, viewing it as a reflection of one's faith and moral character. The Quran explicitly instructs believers to honor their commitments, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described breaking promises as a trait of hypocrisy. The significance of fulfilling promises extends to all areas of life, including personal relationships, business transactions, and social responsibilities. In personal relationships, keeping promises fosters trust, respect, and mutual understanding. It strengthens bonds and creates a foundation of reliability and dependability. In business transactions, honoring commitments ensures fair dealings, builds reputation, and contributes to a just and ethical economy. Socially, fulfilling promises promotes harmony, cooperation, and a sense of community. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, exemplified the highest standards of integrity in keeping promises. His life is replete with examples of his unwavering commitment to fulfilling his word, even in the face of difficulty. He emphasized that a true believer is one whose promises can be relied upon, and he warned of the severe consequences of breaking promises. Modern life presents numerous challenges to maintaining the integrity of promises. The fast-paced nature of contemporary society, coupled with the pressures of work, personal ambitions, and social commitments, can sometimes lead to the neglect of promises. However, Islam provides clear guidance on how to navigate these challenges, urging believers to be mindful of their words, to make promises only when they are certain they can fulfill them, and to seek Allah's help in upholding their commitments. On the Day of Judgment, individuals will be questioned about the promises they made and whether they fulfilled them. This accountability encourages believers to reflect on the importance of integrity, to assess their own behavior, and to strive for a life that upholds the values of honesty, reliability, and trustworthiness. 9. How did you treat the environment? Islam teaches that humans are stewards of the earth, entrusted with the responsibility to care for and protect the environment. The Quran and Hadith provide extensive guidance on environmental ethics, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all creation and the importance of maintaining balance and harmony. The Quran describes the natural world as a sign of Allah's power and wisdom, urging believers to reflect on its beauty and to protect it. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized the importance of environmental stewardship through his teachings and practices. He encouraged the conservation of resources, the protection of wildlife, and the sustainable use of natural resources. He taught that planting trees, conserving water, and avoiding waste are acts of worship that earn Allah's pleasure. The responsibility towards the environment encompasses various aspects, including the conservation of water, the protection of wildlife, and the sustainable use of natural resources. Water, described in the Quran as the source of all life, is to be used judiciously and without waste. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, instructed his followers to avoid wasting water, even when performing ablution from a running stream. This teaching underscores the principle of sustainability and the importance of mindful consumption. The protection of wildlife is also emphasized in Islamic teachings. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prohibited the mistreatment of animals and encouraged kindness towards all living beings. He taught that every creature has a role in the ecosystem and that humans should respect and protect the diversity of life. In the modern context, the principles of Islamic environmental ethics provide valuable guidance on addressing contemporary environmental challenges. Issues such as climate change, deforestation, pollution, and resource depletion require a collective effort to adopt sustainable practices and to protect the planet for future generations. Islam encourages believers to be proactive in environmental conservation, to reduce their ecological footprint, and to advocate for policies that promote environmental justice and sustainability. On the Day of Judgment, individuals will be questioned about their treatment of the environment. This accountability encourages believers to reflect on their environmental impact, to adopt sustainable practices, and to strive for a life that reflects the values of stewardship, conservation, and respect for all of Allah's creation. 10. Did you seek knowledge and apply it? Seeking knowledge is highly valued in Islam, regarded as a means to attain spiritual, intellectual, and moral growth. The Quran and Hadith emphasize the importance of education and the pursuit of knowledge, describing it as a lifelong endeavor that benefits both the individual and society. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, encouraged the pursuit of knowledge, stating that it is obligatory for every Muslim, male and female. The quest for knowledge in Islam encompasses both religious and worldly sciences. Religious knowledge, including the study of the Quran, hadith, fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, and other Islamic sciences is essential for understanding and practicing the faith. Worldly knowledge, including the natural sciences, humanities, and social sciences, is also valued as it contributes to the well-being and advancement of society. The pursuit of knowledge is seen as a form of worship and a means to attain closeness to Allah. The Quran describes those who possess knowledge as being in a higher rank, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized that the path to knowledge leads to paradise. He encouraged his followers to seek knowledge from cradle to grave, to travel in search of knowledge, and to share their knowledge with others. However, seeking knowledge in Islam is not just about acquiring information. It is also about applying that knowledge in a way that benefits oneself and others. Knowledge should lead to positive action, ethical conduct, and the betterment of society. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned against the dangers of knowledge that is not acted upon, describing it as a burden that can lead to spiritual and moral downfall. The modern world offers unprecedented opportunities for the pursuit of knowledge, with access to vast amounts of information and advanced educational resources. However, it also presents challenges, including the potential for misinformation, the ethical implications of technological advancements, and the need to balance knowledge acquisition with practical application. On the Day of Judgment, individuals will be questioned about the knowledge they acquired and how they applied it. This accountability encourages believers to reflect on their educational pursuits, to seek knowledge that is beneficial, and to apply their learning in ways that promote justice, compassion, and the common good. It also underscores the importance of lifelong learning and the continuous effort to improve oneself and contribute positively to society.